Good evening. So, a question amongst many questions that I'm constantly getting is, what do you think about the stock market now? Is it a great opportunity to buy? And here's what I say to people. Because listen, nobody can tell you with absolute certainty what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day with the stock market, with precision. Now, what I like to do is gather as many facts as I can to mitigate risks in making a decision. And so when we think about the horrific pandemic that's going around the globe, and one death is too many, and we hope and pray that that gets, the curve gets flattened, the virus gets defeated as quickly as possible. But when we look around the globe, okay, China, we don't really believe much of what they say. However, Apple did reopen all of their stores in China, and they made that statement as a public company. And so that fact we know that however or whatever China did, they seem to be back to work. South Korea, a country that I have much more confidence and trust in what they say, flattened their curve. Probably the best example globally thus far. And listen, I'm never going to get into politics on this, so don't even think about it. I don't care what your political opinion is, and I don't care to tell you what my political opinion is. This is about stocks. South Korea, we trust much more. Flatten the curve. Italy has been horrific. And finally, their deaths are starting to tail off, but just sad, horrific situation. But in the United States, did you know that Washington State, which started off as the epicenter, as the hotspot in the United States, has flattened? I actually heard on the news that California may be flattening. Now, I don't know if that's like one of those that's too early to call, but that's what they were saying. And so there are other states that are doing well. New York is sad. It's horrific right now. But we have seen examples of countries and states where they have flattened the curve, where they have gotten a grip, whether it be through testing, through drugs, through social distancing, quarantining, and the curve flattened. And these, SARS and MERS, SARS, were horrific diseases as well. They eventually went away. They didn't actually make vaccines for those yet, but I do believe there's tons of people working on vaccines for COVID-19. So, if you believe that the United States is eventually going to beat and overcome and flatten the curve and get beyond this virus, then yes, I do believe that there are going to be generational opportunities to make big money in the stock market. If you know what you're doing, if you study, if you're not just looking for people to give you stock picks and blindly follow them, yes, I think this could be the biggest opportunity since really the rebound from the 2008-2009 Great Recession. And what kind of stocks am I focused on making a list of? It's companies that either have not been affected business-wise, and that's a rare group by this whole thing, but I'm actually long one right now, and I'll talk about that in a different video. But really what I'm looking for is companies and businesses I know that on day one, even on day one of reopening their business, let alone, or even sooner, when we get sense that the curve's flattening in the United States and we're going to eventually loosen the restrictions on quarantines and get people back to work, those businesses that will come back right away are the ones I'm making a list of. And leaving to the ones that are murkier, if you will. Like, listen, airlines, cruise industries, which I'm not a fan of the cruise industry at all. A, because I never want to go on a cruise ship. B, I don't even think they're American-based companies. C, as far as bailout stuff goes, so why would we bail them out? C, how long is it going to take for cruise ships, even once we say tomorrow, okay, this is it, you can go back on cruise ships, reopen, blah, blah, blah. It could take a certain amount of time before they get to a profitable revenue point. And we don't know how they're going to, what kind of financing they're going to have to do if they're in trouble with debt. It could be very dilutive. So there's a lot of uncertainty there, right? Let's take airlines. The airlines are going to need a bailout of some sort. We don't know how that's going to be structured. In 2009, some of the bailouts were actually the government taking a big equity stake, and there was dilution, and it wasn't really clear at first. We don't know how bailouts are going to be structured yet with certainty. And then, listen, I do think the airlines are going to come back, but do I think day one they're going to have a revenue capacity being filled that gets them to profitability? I'm not so sure. So there's still uncertainty with that. Now, let's take some other examples. McDonald's. Their stock was 217 to like in the 120s. Now it's kind of bounced back. But as an example of a business, number one, they're still serving food on DoorDash and things of that nature. But number two, when McDonald's opens, I feel pretty confident that Americans are going to still, like on day one, go at least through the drive-thru. If not, go in and get some Mickey D's. So it's businesses that I have a good confidence in that they weren't affected or they'll come right back. A lot of medical devices, a lot of different technologies, companies that have been stalled, but they'll come right back because there's a need for their product and or service. So those are the types of opportunities that I am focused on. I'm not trying to guess what's going to happen with Boeing because I don't know. I don't know if they're going to get a bailout and it's going to be dilutive. I don't know how if they're going to have to restructure. I don't know when they're going to get back to a point of profitable revenue. So I'm trying to like put those to the side and making a list of companies where I know or I have very strong confidence that their business will be back day one. And in a few cases, like a stock that I own, they're actually growing earnings 300% through this whole entire mess. And I'll talk about that company that I'm long on another video. So I do believe that the United States will eventually win this war on this virus and that our economy will eventually come roaring back, and that there are companies right now that, a very small group, that they're still going along and growing, but a larger group on day one, their business comes right back. And listen, it's discounted that second quarter numbers aren't going to be good. Their revenue is going to come right back, and they will be marching back towards growth. And those are the companies that I want to own, and that I'm looking for, and that I'm compiling a list to do and to get to. So this is the first video. I wanted to answer that question generally speaking about the market, and I'll be doing more videos answering more questions that I get. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.